Have you ever felt frustrated or disappointed when struggling to remember what you've learned? If so, you're not alone. This is a common challenge faced by students, professionals, and lifelong learners alike. But here's the good news. There's a powerful learning technique that can help you retain knowledge more effectively and for the long term. It's called the Feynman Technique. In this video, we'll explore what the Feynman Technique is, how it works, and how you can apply it to master even the most complex concepts. Let's dive in. Who was Richard Feynman? The Feynman Technique is named after Richard Feynman, one of the greatest physicists of the 20th century. Born on May 11, 1918 in New York City, Feynman was a curious child who loved tinkering with radios. In fact, people in his neighborhood would often call him to fix their broken radios because he had a knack for understanding how things worked. As a young man, Feynman's curiosity led him to study physics. He graduated from MIT in 1939 and earned his PhD from Princeton University in 1942. Over his career, he became a professor at Cornell University and later at Caltech. In 1965, he won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his groundbreaking work in quantum electrodynamics. But beyond his scientific achievements, Feynman was known for his ability to explain complex ideas in simple terms. He believed that if you couldn't explain something clearly, you didn't truly understand it. What is the Feynman Technique? The Feynman Technique is a four-step method designed to deepen your understanding of any topic. Unlike traditional memorization, this technique focuses on active learning and simplification. Here's how it works. Step 1. Identify the concept. Start by picking the topic or concept you want to learn. Write it down as if you're preparing to teach it to someone else. For example, if you're studying self-awareness, jot down its definition, characteristics, and methods for improvement. Step 2. Teach it in simple terms now. Pretend you're explaining the concept to a fifth grader or someone with no prior knowledge of the subject. Use simple language and avoid jargon. For instance, instead of saying, self-awareness is the ability to focus on oneself and evaluate actions against internal standards, you could say, self-awareness means knowing your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's about understanding your strengths, weaknesses, and how others see you. Step 3. Identify gaps in your understanding. If you struggle to explain something clearly, go back to your notes or resources. Fill in the gaps in your knowledge until you can confidently explain the concept without hesitation. Step 4. Simplify and organize. Review your explanation and refine it. Remove any unnecessary complexity and ensure the information flows logically. Repeat this process until you can teach the concept effortlessly. Why does the Feynman Technique work? The Feynman Technique aligns with research on effective learning methods. According to the learning pyramid, developed by the National Training Laboratories, the more actively you engage with information, the better you'll remember it. Here's how different learning activities compare. Listening to a lecture, 5% retention. Reading, 10% retention. Audiovisual aids, 20% retention. Demonstrating, 30% retention. Discussing with others, 50% retention. Practicing, 75% retention. Teaching others, 90% retention. By teaching a concept, in this case through the Feynman Technique, you activate the highest level of retention. Plus, this method has several additional benefits. Deeper understanding. It helps you connect ideas rather than just memorizing facts. Long-term retention. Repeatedly explaining concepts reinforces memory. Improved communication skills. Simplifying ideas sharpens your ability to communicate clearly. Active learning. Engaging with material boosts motivation and comprehension. Real-life applications of the Feynman Technique. Feynman himself used this technique throughout his career. When faced with complex theories, he'd ask himself, can I explain this using a simple example? Or, could I make this clear enough for a first-year student? Bill Gates, one of America's most successful entrepreneurs, once said that Richard Feynman was the greatest teacher I ever had. Gates admired how Feynman made physics accessible and meaningful, proving that even the most challenging topics could be understood with the right approach. The Feynman technique isn't limited to science. It works for any field. Whether you're learning psychology, business, or even cooking, this method can transform how you absorb and retain information. Personal example: applying the Feynman Technique. Let me share a quick example. Recently, I tried applying the Feynman Technique while reviewing a difficult book on psychological manipulation. At first, I found the concepts confusing and hard to grasp, so I broke them down into simpler terms, wrote explanations in my own words, and connected the ideas to real-life situations. Whenever I struggled to explain something clearly, I revisited the material until I could simplify it further. By the end, not only did I understand the content better, but I was also able to plug those insights into practical advice for others. It was incredibly rewarding. How to apply the Feynman Technique. Today, ready to try the Feynman Technique for yourself? Here are some tips. Set clear goals. Decide what you want to learn before you start. Take notes actively. Write down key points and rephrase them in your own words. Organize ideas. Group related concepts together and find connections between them. Ask questions. Challenge yourself to clarify anything you don't fully understand. Teach others. Share what you've learned with friends, family, or colleagues. It's the ultimate test of your understanding. The Feynman Technique is more than just a study tool. It's a mindset. It encourages curiosity, persistence, and a commitment to truly mastering what you learn. Yes, it takes effort, but the rewards are worth it. As Richard Feynman once said, you just keep on learning and learning, and pretty soon you'll learn something nobody has learned before. So, whether you're tackling a tough subject or simply trying to grow your knowledge, give the Feynman Technique a shot. Trust me, your brain will thank you. That's all for today. What do you think about this method? Have you tried it before? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. See you next time.